Hello, I'm the City Engineer David Salmon. We're bringing you this Lewisville update to talk about some of the changes happening now and in the near future along I-35 East.
Hi, David.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good this evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm David Salmon. I'm the City Engineer. And I've been asked to give a brief, kind of a high-level overview of our I-35 interchange project that's coming up very quickly. TxDOT is getting ready to reconstruct 3 interchanges here in Lewisville, Main Street, Business 121, and Corporate Drive. And those interchanges will be built out to the ultimate I-35 conditions. I'll recall back in 2013-14 timeframe, TxDOT did some reconstruction of I-35 through Lewisville. That was considered phase 1. The interchanges up at 407 and Garden Ridge were completed. Those were built to ultimate conditions at that time. They did some sort of interim improvements at Fox Avenue. So this is adding 3 more interchanges, and all 3 of these interchanges will be built out to the ultimate condition. The first interchange that TxDOT is going to start very quickly is our Main Street interchange. It's going to be widened to an 8-lane total cross-section plus the Texas U-turns. Of course, the bridge will be longer because I-35 is getting wider, so of course that will occur with this. The service roads in this area will go to 3 lanes in each direction. The intersection at Edmonds Lane will be modified. There'll be a median across that Edmonds Lane, so when you're driving north on Edmonds and you approach Main Street, you'll have to turn right. You'll be able to make a right turn onto Edmonds from Main, but you won't be able to make a left turn. And you'll see when I get into the schematics, why we're doing that and why TxDOT is doing that. And of course, we're going to be adding aesthetics like we did with the other interchanges. Just to kind of show you what's happening on Main Street, you'll see over here on the left side of the screen sort of a rendering of what the bridge will look like. You can see the U-turn lanes. You can see there's banner poles and decorative pavement, crosswalks. The north side of the bridge will have bike and pedestrian facilities, and then I think there's just going to be a sidewalk on the south side. But there are going to be quite a few enhancements. If you look at the right side of the screen, you can sort of see the map or schematic view of what that'll look like with the service roads pushed further out to the edges and the widened I-35 main lanes.
David, when you say widen lanes on 35, are they really going to widen it, or is it just shrinking the lanes, adding additional lanes?
No, these lanes. When they did the phase 1, they made a lot of the lanes 11 feet wide rather than 12, which is normal. But in these sections here, where they're building to the ultimate conditions, these will go in as 12-foot lanes.
Will they change? Is there any anticipation of change? The ones further north, the 12 feet, are always going to be 11? No,
ultimately those will change. What TxDOT did with phase 1, some of it was built to ultimate conditions, like up at FM 407 and the Garden Ridge. But the rest of 35 through Lewisville was kind of built in an interim. It was an improvement, but it isn't the ultimate cross-section. So now they're coming back and they're adding more interchanges, which will also be ultimate conditions. And then, of course, there'll be additional phases in the future. We just don't know when those are going to come.
What's going to be on those flags? Advertisement or just Lewisville Monument?
Yeah, usually things that have to do, either something to do with Old Town or some, it'll be basically Lewisville advertisement or some sort of something decorative that commemorates what's going on in Lewisville.
Oh, okay. So like you'll change it out, like
right.
Western Day. You have a Western Day flag up there.
Something like that, yeah. And of course that'll be taken care of by James Kunke's group. But yeah, that's the idea.
Nice. So the bridge's not going to shake anymore when we go.
No, I think we're going to lose the bouncing bridge. You'll see when I talked about closing the median opening at Edmonds Lane, the service road on the west side of the I-35 gets pushed quite a distance further to the west. And so, that distance between the service road and Edmonds Lane will be considerably shorter than it already is. So having two signals that close together is just almost an impossible situation. And TxDOT agreed that would be it would be dangerous. And so what TxDOT proposed was closing off that median opening and removing that signal at Edmonds.
I've seen so many close calls in that spot, and it's scary.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
What about that extra light when you're coming off the ramp when you're traveling southbound on 35 and you get off, you've got that light like right in front of Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one that's going away. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not good now, so you can imagine how bad it would be with even a shorter distance.
Yeah, it's almost like playing Frogger over there.
Historically, that light at Edmonds Lane, back when there was if you were going eastbound on Main Street, the stack from 35 would go all the way to the high school when there was a single right. We did a double right years later, but that light at Edmonds Lane is linked with both lights, the Walmart light and both lights on the east and west side of 35. And that light at Edmonds robs a lot of green and red, so you get stacked on the east side frontage road. Westbound Main on the west side to eastbound, all of that. That intersection at Edmonds has caused a lot of problems through the years, and the stack used to go all the way back to the high school because you have a lot of lights that are in sequence. As David was saying, the intersection at Edmonds to the service road, there's not enough distance there. So through the years, the city actually approached the community to dead end Edmonds or to swing Edmonds in and buy what was then a second save before 24-hour fitness, turn Edmonds in and bring it into the light well before, what's the Mexican food place there now? It was
Chipotle.
Chipotle before that was like a Denny's. But to swing it through that then vacant center, that didn't happen. And then it was just ended, period, send everybody to Purnell to serve to get rid of that light to try to help congestion of traffic on either side. So this is the best of both worlds, that you'll still be able to, Dave may show this, but what he's telling you is going to be a huge improvement for now plus future. With that intersection closed, you'll still be able to turn eastbound Main to southbound Edmonds or northbound Edmonds to eastbound Main, but you won't be able to there won't be a light that gets you through a median opening there. Now you still can't come through the turn, as Rob, as you were saying, and get all the way over to the left to make a left. You can't do that. Chick-fil-A is moving, but I'm sure that area is still going to remain pretty congested with Walmart and Sam's. Pretty busy with that.
So one quick question. So that neighborhood, if that median is going to close off at Edmonds and what's that? Main Street. If you have to turn on, is it Purnell that takes you through the
Purnell
neighborhood?
Surf, and Jennifer lives on Surf. Her family's lived there a long time. She'll probably tell you that people are already going that way to avoid that light because it's really hard to negotiate. So they're already going to Purnell to Surf. We'll have to be conscious of that to make sure we don't increase it too much. But a lot of traffic is coming Surf, which is Summit, north side of Main, because it changes from Summit to Surf.
Yeah.
A lot of people are already doing it, but they're doing it now because that intersection is stacked up in the mornings, and getting through there with a light, even with a light, is a pretty good challenge.
Yeah, but with that now going to be a lot more heavily traveled, the speed limit over there is 25. Are you going to raise it up to 40, or is it going to stay 25?
It'll stay like it is.
Is it 25?
It's all complicated too because of the emergency vehicles going to the hospital.
At peak, good
Changes
point,
everything.
Karen. At peak, even in the old days when a single right, if the fire department or a police car ran through there with their Opticom and gave you a double red, you got double stacked. So the frontage road, especially on the east side, northbound frontage road coming up to Main, if the fire department or police ran through there and did a double red and double stack, it would never recover till well after peak. It might be 8 o'clock at night if it happened at 5:30 on a Friday afternoon. The stacks were really bad. It's much better now, but good point. And that can happen anyway. But getting rid of that light at Edmonds has been something that we've been after for several decades. So it's a TxDOT issue. They talked about swinging and buying land through the old Colonial Savings and swinging Edmonds into the service road and taking more, tax properties off the roll, but they didn't do that. So this is the best condition that we have with an existing situation. It's not the best, but it's the best that we can do with an existing condition.
One of the really exciting things that's happening here at Main Street is with our aesthetics. Some of you might recall a while back we went through an exercise with our city council with regard to the tower, the old Fighting Farmers Tower. And at that time, our consultant came up with some aesthetics to commemorate that Fighting Farmers Tower. And so what we're going to be doing at Main Street is having one mural in each direction commemorate the Fighting Farmers. You can see it has the tower and the Fighting Farmer and a marching band in the background. And in addition to changing out the murals, we're adding lighting on this particular interchange so that you can see those murals at night.
So in each brick, are we gonna have the years that we've won stuff and you're gonna be able
No,
to etch that onto the bricks?
No, I don't think so. It'll
Should
look
be
pretty
done
much.
by 80X, people looking at it.
Yeah, we
Well,
don't.
you also run into, Tamala, you also run into, you have way more than just the football team.
Yeah, well, that's fine, we
You
got all that highway.
have UIL, you have national UIL
To
championships.
Tamara's point, James and staff, we're looking with the high school for an area, either on the water tower side or on LHS, for all UIL state championship histories, whether it's choir, drama, drill, band, whatever. That idea is a good one, and it's something that we're thinking about doing. It could, the water tower site's not that great place to gather because of the speed of the service road and whatever, but that idea is out there, and we're looking to do that and have a celebration where you could walk through and see those things for all UIL activities.
Yeah.
And have it where you could grow that, but it might be an LISD, City of Lewisville joint venture. So we are looking at that.
Because I think that's a tradition. I mean,
Right.
it was plastered on the water
It
tower.
was.
But yeah,
But, again, that tank was put up, David, in 1960. It was galvanized until 1972. That's when the first paint job of Lewisville Fighting Farmers appeared, and it was black lettering. And y'all know the rest of the history it was added on to, but it got to a point where this is a little bit more sustainable than that tower, because it was rusted. You're looking now, it'd be well over $1 million to paint it and fix it. At the time, it was about $800,000. It was not working in our 692.5 pressure zone, so it's just sitting there. So this, and I'm a fighting farmer, so I was in band and football. I think this is cool, and most people do too. They'll like it a lot, and it'll be there and be something they'll look for.
Yeah, I like it.
Big and bold.
And then we have the Old Town scenes flanking either side. We had 4 Old Town scenes. We just took 2 of them out. You'll still have Old Town scenes on it, but people will be talking about this too, because it's unique.
Moving on to Business 121. Again, we're going to have 8 lanes plus U-turn lanes underneath I-35. The bridge will look somewhat like it does now in terms of the road going underneath I-35, although, like I said, it'll be longer and wider. There'll be a relatively significant change in the way Texas Street is reconfigured in the service roads. You can see on this Business 121, the service roads are going to come right up just like a typical interchange. Instead of having all those loops and jug handles and kind of odd situation there, we'll just have normal service roads coming up to the Business 121. We do lose those flyovers in this, which are convenient, but this is a much more efficient layout for those intersections and the signals.
What's the flyover?
Right now, you've got those lanes where when you go through, you know, yeah, you kind of skip over Business 121. You can get over on that lane, and it takes you over Business 121 and brings you back down on the service road.
Skip the light.
You skip the light, yeah,
okay.
those will go away.
That looks really nice.
But it does clean it up quite a bit. There will be a connection to Texas Street to the service road that just isn't shown on this. And then you can see what the aesthetics will look like underneath the bridge.
That looks really good.
With all the aesthetics, is that TxDOT paying for a lot of that, or
I'm sorry?
is TxDOT paying for a lot of that?
No, the aesthetics are going to be a city paid for. It's considered a betterment, and so just like we did with the other ones that were built a few years ago, the city will pay for those.
So this interchange will look much more like 407.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really good.
County too, right?
Yeah, Denton County has funding in this as well for the aesthetics.
So is that motel getting taken out or not?
Nope, we're
Oh, it's not sustainable. Nobody.
Are you talking about motel time?
Yes, ma'am.
That thing's not going anywhere.
I know it's I think it's got staying power. I don't know what.
Might as well just put a historical marker right in front of it.
We should turn it into a museum. Yes.
Another interesting piece of this Business 121 interchange is TxDOT has also agreed to realign the intersection at Business 121 and Mill Street. As you all know, it's a little, it's very awkward to maneuver. And frankly, it's too close to the intersection with I-35, and of course, the lights back up. The city convinced TxDOT to do this project with the intersection realignment at Business 121 and Mill with the Business 121 interchange. Although because of the funding type, we think this will probably occur a little bit after the fact, but it is funded through TxDOT. They're going to take Mill Street and curve it kind of back to the east, and it'll intersect Business 121 where the Northwood Mobile Home Park entrance lines up. So it'll be a four-way intersection, and what they'll do, they'll remove the signal down here where Mill Street is now, and basically move the signal back up here where the new intersection is at Northwood Mobile Home Park. The very south end of Mill Street will just become a cul-de-sac. And my understanding is that TxDOT is in the midst of acquiring all the right-of-way parcels that they need in order to do this.
So it's just south of the bus barn, but north of the 7-Eleven. You can kind of visualize it. Is that right there?
Right, yeah, the 7-Eleven is down here in this area.
And the bus barn's to the right of that road.
And the
there.
bus barn is, here's the bus barn right up here.
Because y'all know right now, is if you get behind a school bus, they can't turn right on red. So you're sitting there. The light's red, no one's coming, but they can't turn right on red. So in the mornings, 4 or 5 buses, that's another stack. And then if the light, something's happened, it's just a congested
2
area.
buses come through, you still have 3.
That's a 30-minute wait. Those buses.
License to wait.
Just give more room to run here.
And then moving on to Corporate Drive, our last interchange. This one's also kind of a little bit of a different animal because everyone knows right now Corporate Drive goes over I-35 and it's only 2 lanes wide. The state is going to flip the interchange, meaning that I-35 will go over and Corporate Drive will go under. And Corporate Drive interchange will be built at the same time as the Business 121 interchange. I think I mentioned earlier that Main Street is a little bit ahead of those two, so you'll see activity at Main Street before you see things going on at 121 and Corporate. Here's the Corporate Drive interchange. As you can see, it's got similar aesthetics going under, Corporate Drive going underneath I-35. In doing so, again, we also go with just a standard service road configuration and intersection. We lose all these jug handles that we have right now at Corporate Drive. we're hoping that will give us some opportunity, after this is finished, to maybe do some additional landscaping and beautification in those areas, because that'll just basically become excess TxDOT right-of-way. But there will be landscaping and aesthetics with this interchange at the front end as well.
So that'll be an undertaking like 407 was.
Yeah, this will be huge, because they're literally, there's going to be a lot of excavation involved. And
Oh, wow.
What's the
So that's gonna
anticipated
tie up
completion?
traffic.
I'm sorry?
What's the anticipated completion?
Construction begins on Main Street in the first quarter of 2023. These are roughly 2 to 3 year projects. And then Business 121 and Corporate Drive, we're expecting construction to begin in the second quarter of 2023.
Talk about the utilities and demolition going on.
Wow.
with that.
Please say I'm gonna work on it like at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Y'all get really familiar with
Back
driving over Fox, just
I know.
just across Fox.
Well,
Please say
and
don't
really,
go.
there probably will be some weekend and overnight construction, just like there was with the first phase, because there's just some things you have to do when it's slow traffic. One of the things we wanted to mention is you probably noticed that there's already some construction occurring up near Main Street, adjacent to the hospital. The city's already moving utility lines out of the way for that Main Street interchange. So that's the construction that you're seeing right now. And you'll also notice there's been some private demolition as well. You'll notice that where the old IHOP was, they've taken up the parking lot and taken down the trees. So that's all in preparation. So
The highway's gonna go over there?
Yeah.
Because I know the Taco Bueno's gone.
Right.
And the IHOP's going too, that's gonna be a
Right.
all highway.
right, the service road will
Yeah,
get
the
pushed
service
back.
road.
Yeah.
Dave, any reason for spreading the Main Street first and business and corporate after?
Right.
Or should we do all together? What's the?
TxDOT broke the projects out because Main Street, because Corporate Drive and Business 121 are relatively close together, and because they are changing the grade of I-35 so significantly with the Corporate Drive interchange, they have to run that grade out. You really get into Business 121, so they decided to make that one project. Main Street is far enough away from that it's a separate project. For whatever reason, TxDOT is leading the project. For whatever reason, they've kind of gotten ahead on Main Street, so that's why it's moving a little bit more
I
quickly.
think there was less acquisition too, Dave, and they're still trying to acquire so many pieces, right?
Yeah, all of these require, TxDOT to acquire right-of-way parcels, so.
And what, just working on both of them, we never be able to get out of Lewisville.
Fox?
It'll be
We're
two
stuck
it'll
here.
be two separate contracts, but they'll be working at the same time.
But that's a good point. What's the contingency plan? As everybody's going to go to Fox now to cross.
Fox and 407 is gonna be the way to get out of town.
Well, right, and of course,
Valley Ridge.
No, don't come down my way.
Well, you'll be
Just
able to
me
get
out.
on at Valley Ridge. You
Yeah.
don't have to go to Main Street.
The trouble with Fox, when they're going eastbound, they want to turn left at the supermarket.
Mhm.
They backside the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's get on, yeah.
And nobody understands that interchange.
I know, I've gone down the wrong way several times.
and really for most of the construction, although I'm sure it'll be backed up, but especially at Main Street, the intent is to be able to keep some traffic moving through during construction. And I'm sure there's going to be some point in the middle of the construction when it won't, but they're going to keep traffic open underneath and over 35 as much as possible during the construction.
Well, they kept Fox open all the time. They rebuilt that.
Did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Still.
it was
So,
not
I mean,
fun.
they won't be able to do that, of course, at Corporate Drive. That would be impossible, but,
Yeah.
Just one lane? Julie?
I'm sorry.
Just because it's one lane?
Well, yeah, because Corporate Drive is so narrow, there's no way you can't just take half that bridge down.
Well, the only other intersection left is Bel Air and 121 Business up to 35. That small section, and then the lanes shift to cross over 121 business. Any thoughts of improving in that area?
Well, they are doing a little, there is some with that
And
interchange.
it's not really a 35, but it's 121 business, Bel Air, then you've got 35.
Oh, by the skating, interstate.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
they're
the-
not there.
let me get down
If
to
you
that.
go westbound.
Where the churches is.
Oh,
Yeah.
churches,
You
okay.
go westbound on
Yeah.
Bel
Yeah, you
Air.
can see, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
with this project, unfortunately, it pretty much ends right at Bel Air. There's Bel Air right there. So they widen Business 121 and then they narrow it back down to existing by the time they get to the intersection.
Well, very, when you go westbound on Bel Air,
Yeah, so,
right there, or from 121 business, it's like funky.
yeah. It's still gonna be, that really won't improve with this project.
That intersection has picked up a ton of traffic in the last couple of years.
It's
Yes, it has.
like, I won't even go, I'll go to Fox, and then go where I need to go.
Which one is that? What's?
121 business in Bel Air.
Yeah, we used to go through there all the time, and we kind of avoid it now too, because it has picked up a ton of
So when you
traffic.
get that second turn lane onto 121 business north, if someone else is from northbound 121 business sitting there blocking the intersection, you can take that outside lane to go up. And I've just seen it.
Yeah, I always go the inside lane.
Yeah.
So nothing's happening at the Valley Ridge Bridge?
No, that'll be addressed in a future phase.
Oh, okay.
Same with the Hebron Parkway. Hebron Parkway Bridge will be addressed in a future phase as well.
You have the Green Ribbon landscaping project going on right now at Valley Ridge, but there's really stopped from planting because it's not a good time to plant, but that's a landscaping effort between the city and TxDOT, like they did on 407 and 1171 out west. So Business 121, or 35 in Valley Ridge is Green Ribbon, and Business 121 and 3040 is a Green Ribbon project that's ongoing right now. That's landscaping.
What I was kind of thinking about was the 30, like you took it further than where my head was at right now, but I mean, that's great. Hopefully we will do that, but I was thinking, not to put any brush on TxDOT, but not that they really care that it's our, 2025 is a big year, but if it's a 2-year, so construction starts Q1 2023, that's 2 years into 2025, right? So, I mean, you don't want to be celebrating with half Main Street under construction and, I mean,
Could.
not that you can, right?
Keep
But
in mind, you have another part of the bridge that's got to be built. So
Yeah.
we're going to go right now. Remember the choke point that used to be? They were we would go back to 8 to 6, right? 8
Yeah.
lanes to 6 lanes when they build the other half. That'll be a choke point for 3 years. Then phase 2, ultimately, remember back in the day, guys, 20 years ago, I-35 was one phase from LBJ to University 380 Drive in Denton. They were going to be all and build all. Well, they didn't have the money to do it. So they split it into 2 phases. Well, whoops, we really can't do that. So these bridges are optimal, the 3. My guess is by some time, they'll cut funding for that Lake Bridge. They'll start that, and that'll go on. Then here comes, then hopefully through Lewisville, the next ultimate phase, but from LBJ to the state line north of Gainesville will be under construction for a long time. It already is now. From Valley View North through Gainesville, it's under construction. And then 35W and 35E is funded from 114 through to that really bad mess at that merge all the way to University. That's a nightmare on Friday afternoon to try to negotiate that. So that's, we'll be enjoying 35 expansions for decades.
so something like a plan around the construction.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, hey, it would be great
Yeah.
to have all the aesthetics and
Yeah, it would.
all those nice pictures ready by 2025, but I mean, that's asking a lot.
Especially the fight in Farmer Park.
Yeah, at least get that out by 2025.
Yeah.
Well, and then I-35 from Carrollton down to LBJ is going under construction pretty quickly too. And that'll be ultimate from that.
It's a duel whether you want to go 45 or 35. Which one you want to be under construction? All of it.
Yeah.
Always, always. Thank you, David. Any more questions?
Thank you.